in Cleveland with 10 in a row music hours. The Wake Up Club. More music workday. Free ticket weekend.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are at Art Wright Stadium. Tonight, a beautiful night for football. The Wadsworth Grizzlies are entertaining the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers. Last week, the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers was successful in their opening game against Firestone, where they won 13-10. We had the Wadsworth Grizzlies away, playing at Cloverleaf in a really great defensive struggle. Ended up with the Wadsworth Grizzlies losing 3-0. So this is a non-league game for the Grizzlies and the Falls. And we have a really nice evening for football. On the field, we have the Wadsworth High School Marching Band, one of the premier bands in the area, having won many awards and titles over the years and having traveled all over the northeastern United States in many competitions, coming home with almost always a majority of the prizes. They're led by Mr. Sam Mays. In the pregame toss, we had the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers, and they won the toss. They have elected to receive. The Wadsworth Grizzlies will be kicking off, and the Falls Black Tigers have chosen to defend the south goal. So we will be moving on your television screen from left to right. Teeing the ball up, and we are just moments away from this opening home game for the Wadsworth Grizzlies. Naturally, well, the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers have number 10, Joe Nice, one of the premier backs in the league, and the ball will go out of bounds at the about the 35-yard line. That, of course, is a no-no, and we'll have a re-kick. The other backs, Frank Simon, a 5'10" sophomore, will be back with Joe Nice. And it looks like the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers have the option to take it on the 35-yard line. And they'll start from there. Number 7, Bill Brandt, will be leading the attack at quarterback. Bill Brandt is a junior, 5'10", 175 pounds. He'll have the luxury of handing off to Joe Nice. We saw a lot of him in last year's game. Matter of fact, I would say the Wadsworth fans thought they saw more of Joe Nice than they wanted to see. Okay, the referees have everything straightened up and we're ready to go. And Brandt hands off to Nice, and a real quick hit at the 35-yard line. Okay. Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers will line it up again. With the Grizzlies, basically in their 4-4, they have the Renegade back up on the line, so it's going to look a little more like a 5-3. Stopped in the backfield. Grizzly attack, jumping in there. And number 76, George penetrating, getting deep in the backfield, and so far, the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers have been held to no virtual yardage at all. Grizzlies like to set up in a 4-4 offense, basically. Sometimes they'll move a linebacker up and make it a 5-3. Right now they're setting a 4-4. Bill Brandt way way back to pass, and he's done a little screen to number 22, Bob Shannon. A lot of backpedaling, but it didn't seem to fool anybody. The Grizzlies are right on the attack and hold them up. That'll bring out the Cuyahoga Falls punting team, and a real nice series on defense for the Wadsworth Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have shown excellent defense against Cloverleaf last week. They held them to no touchdowns. Grizzlies have back number 4, Jason Knapp, Jason Knapp. Kick, end over end kick. Kind of hits on the 45, and it'll die there on the 45 with the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers downing it with no run back. Not a real great kick. The ball didn't get that good bounce. Kind of died like a quail on the 45-yard line. So the Grizzlies, for the first time in their home opener, will go on offense. The Wadsworth Grizzlies are led by Ian Cranston at quarterback. Number 1, he'll be handing off to Josh McCall, Brian Knapp, or Brian Madigan. Jason Knapp or Brian Madigan. Knapp in motion right, and it's a counter. Coming this side is Brian Madigan, and he's stringing it out to the 50, picks up about 5 yards. He's driven out of bounds here at the 50-yard line. And that should be good for about 5 yards. Second and 6 yards, second and 4.
Well, I'll just break in here a little bit. Our other announcer will be here in just a second, but my name's John Madding. I'll just fill in here a little bit. Bob will be doing the play-by-play, and I'll just fill in the gaps.
Wadsworth Grizzlies set up in what they call their West Wing offense. In motion, number 2, Brian Madigan, gets the same call coming around our side, and apparently slipped right at the 50-yard line. It looked like he was looking downfield to pick up his blockers, and his feet kind of went out from under him, right at the 50-yard line for no gain.
Madigan had some real nice runs last week against Cloverleaf. The first play from scrimmage was a 17-yard gain, and we're hoping to see some more from him tonight.
That's right, the Wadsworth Grizzlies are blessed with some really great outside speed. Jason Knapp and Brian Madigan both have really good speed, and of course the big power runner, number 41 in there, is Josh McCall. And nice counter, fooled me. Nice pass. And you can't hit him in the hands any better than that. That was Josh McCall at the 45-yard line, and was unable to put it away.
Ian Cranston just did throw a few passes last week, but didn't get a real good chance to test his arm. Hopefully they practiced on a lot of offense this week, and he may be able to get the ball away tonight.
One of the things we'll see different is Ian Cranston is expected to step up into the pocket. He was trying to swing out of the pocket. Back. Number 11, Craig McNamara, gets a straight up in the air kick, and it lands on it's going to roll to the Black Tigers 25-yard line. And so far, we have seen a couple punts. I'm now joined by my colleague and my wonderful son, who has been my wonderful son for many, many years, Jeff Gorman. Jeff Gorman, a graduate of Northwestern University, where he studied sports journalism and has been the voice of the Wadsworth Grizzlies all of last season in football and starting this year. We're happy to have Jeff able to do away games and home games now that the WCTV has a van. Okay, we have the quarterback with a little pitch out to Joe Nice, and Nice is stopped again.
Hello, Dad.
Hello, Jeff. Welcome aboard. I know that you had a little car trouble. The car runs better when there's air in the tires instead of all around the tires.
Yes.
Welcome, and glad you could join us.
Oh, it's glad to be here. I see no score here in the first quarter. 8:15 to go.
We have just had an exchange of punts, basically, but the Wadsworth Grizzlies have shown great defense stopping the vaulted running attack of Cuyahoga Falls.
Cuyahoga Falls lost 4 on that one as Joe Nice was stopped in the backfield. It's going to be 2nd down and 14. I did run from the car, so Bill Brandt under center. Going in motion, Jeff Strebe. Quick shot over the middle, incomplete. Looking for Brandon Henneman, 6'3" tight end. He's a big target, but the ball just glanced off the top of his fingertips. That'll set down 3rd and very long, 3rd and 14.
Interesting to see that play, because that was the only play that the Cloverleaf was successful at. A quick little hitter over the middle. They got their yardage on that. Apparently they've been taking a page out of Cloverleaf's book, but no success there.
That'll bring up 3rd down and 14. Falls on their own 22. We have no score early in the first quarter. They line up in the I. Rolling to his left is Bill Brandt. He had some room. He'll toss it towards the sidelines and into the sidelines. Looks like the intended receiver was number 6, Adam Steiner. Craig McNamara playing good at free safety. He was behind the receiver, and the throw was offline. So that'll bring up 4th and 14, and the Black Tigers will punt.
I think we can say here on that play that Bill Brandt basically threw the ball away. His receivers were pretty well covered, and that is another thing that hasn't been tested very much. The Grizzlies secondary on passes. Cloverleaf did not throw deep very often.
So Falls set to punt. And getting the kick away is Wade Worthington. Coming up, a diving stop by Jason Knapp. And the Grizzlies have the ball in very good field position at the Falls 45.
Again, we have a really beautiful night for football. It's probably in the middle 50s and nice crisp weather. Comfortable enough for the fans with a jacket, and not very much wind. We've had a pretty stiff breeze all day, but it seems to have settled down. So.
Okay, under center for the Grizzlies will be number 1, Ian Cranston. And the Grizzlies on 1st down from the Falls 45 will line up in the East Wing offense. The East Wing back is number 4, Jason Knapp. And they will go straight up the middle with Josh McCall, the fullback. He pushes ahead for 1, maybe 2, near the 43 of Cuyahoga Falls.
I think, Jeff, you mean the West Wing, because West is going to be on that side.
I thought they go by if you're the center, like the left is the west, just like on a map. The east is the right.
I'm not sure, really. Well, he's getting the nod from our analyst over there. So, again, Jeff is right, and good old Dad is wrong. But those things happen. Those things happen.
You're the man.
I just saw the old sun set in the west, and silly me.
Jason Joy, number 5, checks into the game. He's the tight end on the left. Now they switch around different variations of the full house backfield. And Cranston's going to throw. He throws it behind the line of scrimmage. Caught by Brian Madigan. Has some room and some great blocking from Knapp. And by the time the Tigers jump on him, he's able to pick up about 6 or 7, does Madigan. He will be about a yard shy of the 1st down.
That was a very nicely disguised play. The defensive backs of Falls are dropping off really heavy to cover the deep, and we have basically a little screen swinging this way. Very nicely disguised play for the Grizzlies.
That'll bring up 3rd down and 2 for Wadsworth. Lining up on the near hash mark. Here's that East Wing offense again. Knapp is the wing. In the backfield, number 2, Brian Madigan, and number 41, Josh McCall. Cranston's going to give it to McCall. He's going to try right tackle. Pushes forward for the 1st down for the Grizzlies. And Wadsworth moving the ball after getting the ball in good field position on the punt.
First down of the game.
First down, they are on the Cuyahoga Falls 37-yard line. Wadsworth opening up the home season at beloved Art Wright Memorial Stadium. Great to be back here as we plan to give you every football game if everything goes well. Now this is the West Wing offense. Brian Madigan on the left, so he's out west. And he comes in motion. They will give it to Madigan. Madigan has some horses in front of him, but he slips and falls down after a gain of 2.
This is the second time tonight we've seen Madigan's feet go out from under him coming on this side. It looks like he's trying to plant his feet to go upfield, and he's kind of slipping before he can get any leverage under him.
No gain on the play, actually. Well, yes, there is. About 3. 2nd down, 7. Brian Thompson checks into the game. He's number 7. He will replace Joy. Joy usually lines up as a tight end, and now Madigan is going to be the split end, the wide out to the right.
One of the things we like to watch here is if Ian Cranston does pass, if he steps up into the pocket instead of swinging out. That's one of the things they worked on this week.
2nd and 8. They fake the same play. Cranston does step up in the pocket, tosses it over the middle, just a little bit behind Jason Knapp. Trying to make the catch running past the ball.
Well, that's a play that can be caught. Ball hit him in the hands. Now, of course, you know you're going to get popped pretty good, but it's part of the game. A catchable ball.
And it's going to be 3rd down and 7 as Joy checks back in. Number 5, and he will line up as the wide receiver to the right. 3rd and 7, an important down here for the Grizzlies, trying to string those first downs together. 3rd and 7. They're on the Tigers 33. They will fake it to Knapp. Cranston steps up, tosses it inside to McCall, and he falls right onto the first down marker. I think he's got it.
I don't know if you could see it from where you are, but still slippery footing down there.
Well, we have a correction. Number 5 is Carmody. We originally thought that Carmody was going to be number 90, but now Carmody is number 5.
Jake Carmody, number 5.
And Jason Joy will wear number 59. He's not on the offensive unit. Carmody split left now. It is short, 2 yards, 4th and 2. Grizzlies going to go for it rather than try a long field goal. They'll try the same play with McCall and another first down.
Real nice play over tackle. And it looked, the Wadsworth Grizzlies, who are probably a little smaller than the Cuyahoga Falls physically, just blew the Panthers just off the ball. That hole opened up in really good shape on this right side.
Both times they've run behind the right side of the line, and that's number 77, Dan Razor, the tackle, and Josh Hendricks, the right guard. They really use them as a vanguard, and with McCall, you got a lot of beef on the hoof there, and it's going to be 1st and 10 on Cuyahoga Falls 22. No score, first quarter, and Cranston takes a deep drop. He's looking for some receivers. He'll try to go underneath, and spun around is Madigan, and that one's incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
If you got to throw the ball there, I think Ian did what he did. The ball was low, so that if it's not caught by Knapp, it's not caught by anybody. It's one of those things he had to pick off his knees.
Looks like Cranston getting a little more protection back there, which is another thing the Grizzlies wanted.
And if any more protection than got at Cloverleaf, I mean, he didn't have time to breathe at all. But he is getting the luxury of having some time to throw.
2 wide receivers on 2nd and 10. It's Jake Carmody to the left and Jason Knapp to the right. They will pitch it to Brian Madigan. Right end, has room, puts his head down, and bulls toward another Grizzly first down. We'll have to check the measurement. Madigan using that outside speed, and they've really used him from the word go this year.
Yeah, we've got to give credit to Coach Ramsey Shepard. He's just mixing up the plays, and right now he's got the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers in kind of disarray. They just don't know what's coming next, and he's kind of nickel-diming them to death here.
A gain of 7 on the play by Madigan. It'll be 3rd down and 3. They're on Cuyahoga Falls 15. And they move around in the backfield. It's going to be the tailback, Madigan, again over that right side, and it's another Grizzly first down.
It looks like they're just going to run that all night. They're going to run it until Cuyahoga Falls figures out what to do about it. They're beating the Black Tigers on the line of scrimmage, which is, I'm rather surprised. Cuyahoga Falls is clearly a bigger team, and everyone expected them to just hold their ground, but the Grizzlies, got a lot of fight in that old Grizzly Bear.
Grizzlies moving the chains now. It'll be 1st and 10 from Cuyahoga Falls 11. So the Grizzlies can get another first down before getting into the end zone. They go to the east wing offense with Knapp in motion left. And they will give it to Madigan. He breaks loose for a Grizzly touchdown.
Nicely drawn up.
An 11-yard touchdown run for Brian Madigan, and the Grizzlies are on the board for the first time in 1993.
That was really a nice play by Ian Cranston, because not only did I buy the fake, and I'm up here in the booth, about half of the defense of the Black Tigers bought that fake on the end around, and nice disguising the ball, and sure did give a little breathing room to the running back.
Credit Ian Cranston with that deception. You got to credit the whole Grizzlies running attack. Cuyahoga Falls just can't concentrate on one person, and when they guess wrong, it's big dividends for the Grizzlies. 6-0. The kick by George. George is good.
Well, isn't that a sigh of relief? We are seeing some place kicking here, and I think that's exactly what the Grizzlies need. They need to get that first touchdown, need to get that place kick through to build their confidence.
3:05 to go in the first quarter. Your score right now, Wadsworth Grizzlies 7, Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers 0. Wadsworth takes a 7-0 lead, and the Grizzlies coach Ramsey Shepard and his staff has to be very gratified by that drive. Not only getting the ball in good field position, but moving the ball very smartly. And the key to that drive, the Grizzlies picking up 2 first downs on 3rd and short, and 1 first down on 4th and short, all 3 on the ground. And not only is that good because it's effective, it also can be kind of demoralizing for the defense. Wadsworth was with their first lead of the year also. The opener was at Cloverleaf, which we brought you last week. It was 3-0, and Cloverleaf didn't get that field goal until there was 3:47 left in the game. And Cloverleaf was 9-1 last year and returned most of their starters. So credit the Grizzlies with a very tough fight last week. Now they're looking to even the slate. Coming up with the ball, and they say it was down. It was sort of a double kick return of no yardage there by number 10, Joe Nice, and number 13, Frank Simon.
You all know the high school rules. When the knee is down, whether the person is touched or not, whether the running back is touched or not, it's down. He cannot advance the ball, and that's what we saw there. Spending his concentration on covering the kick, which of course is the first priority of the receiving team.
Another thing we'll have to watch for with the Grizzlies on defense is their ability to stop Joe Nice, who is number 10. He's the featured back, as you see him line up as the tailback for Cuyahoga Falls. He really ran roughshod last week over Firestone. And here is Nice trying right tackle. Grizzlies try to string it out. He is finally brought down across the 25 to the 26. It'll be a gain of 8 for Joe Nice.
That's the first advance that Joe Nice has had tonight. He's been virtually stopped in his tracks in the previous set of downs. But Joe Nice, as I said, is one of the premier running backs in Northeast Ohio, and it's not going to be likely that we'll be able to contain him all night.
Last week against Firestone, Nice with 13 carries, 50 yards, but he also helped the Black Tigers with a touchdown catch and a big interception down the stretch from the cornerback spot. So you really have to watch Joe Nice all the time. 2nd down 2, they line up in the I, as they usually do, featuring the tailback Nice. Here he comes, and the Grizzlies bottle him up. Nice job there. Coming in at the end on the support was Jason Joy, who's now number 59.
Good stop by number 41, Josh McCall, too. He stood up that side of the line, and even though he took a block on himself, he cleared things open for the Grizzlies' pursuit.
And it will be a gain of 1 there for Nice, and it is 3rd and 1. Looking at number 33 there, Craig Empch, a sophomore, on the line at the right defensive tackle spot, was the initial hitter on that play. He's a big kid, 205. 3rd and 1 now. And the Grizzlies have to be thinking Nice. And here he comes. Has a big hole, but the one man who's there, Josh McCall, is able to drag him down, and we'll have to see if Nice got the first.
It's initially Joe Nice on a little counter play, and they didn't have to do very much. So yeah, he did pick up the first down.
It is a first down for Cuyahoga Falls on their own 29. We have 1:18 to go in the first quarter, and the Grizzlies up 7-0 on an 11-yard touchdown run by Brian Madigan, which capped a 45-yard drive. Well, I'm corrected. It looks like we are going to have a measurement. And so there is a bit of doubt as to whether Joe Nice got the first down. Big tackle by Josh McCall.
Excellent tackle. And the Grizzlies have been working on not only their goal line defense, but they've been really working on their short yardage. And
it is a Cuyahoga Falls first down. They confirm it on the field. And they are at about the 27, I should say, of the Falls.
Minute 18 left in the game. It's 7-0, the red team.
Falls had a real up and down season last year. They had a game at Ellett where everything went wrong. They lost, I believe, 43-zip. Then they came back to win the next week. Sort of a Jekyll and Hyde performance last year. Running for his life is Bill Brandt. He just gets away. We've got a holding call, and the pass is incomplete. It was intended for Jeff Strebe, but it was all moot because we're going to get a holding call on Jeremy Jones, number 65, as he tackled the Grizzlies man on that play. Looks like the man in pursuit was Josh Hendricks, if I'm not mistaken.
That is exactly what the Grizzlies
need. It was George, I'm told now. Thank you.
That's exactly what the Grizzlies need here, is a little breathing room and set the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers back a bit.
Falls trying to strike quickly looking for a big pass on first down, but instead the holding call is going to set them up at first and perhaps longer than 20, because in high school it's 10 yards from the infraction. So that could be a 15-yard penalty or so. We'll see as they march it off. Going all the way back to their own 9. And that is going to be a 20-yard penalty.
And that's a major ouch.
That is a major owie. Looks like they are on, I believe, the 10. So it's a 19-yard penalty. 1st and 29. Swing pass to Nice. He draws a crowd. And the Grizzlies able to bring him down after a short gain.
Excellent pursuit by those linebackers. Again, cornerback coming up. I wasn't sure who that was that knifed through.
Pickup of 2 on the play by Nice. It's going to be 2nd and 28. And boy, the way they measure those holding penalties, they can really cost you.
Well, on that play, there's really great pursuit by the Grizzlies anyway. I mean, the holding didn't help at all.
Jeff Strebe, number 42, is the man split to the bottom of your screen. Actually, he's off your screen, I see. And the Grizzlies jump. And we're going to have to see if it was on the Grizzlies or a false start. Looks like several Grizzlies jumped, so they may have been the victim of a hard count by Bill Brandt.
That would have been a good place to do a hard cadence. And,
no, it's going to be on the falls. It was a false start.
Well, the disciplined Grizzlies held their own. Well, they say the patient cat always catches the impatient mouse. That's what it was there.
That's a good little wrinkle there. 5 more yards back, so now it's 2nd and 33, and the Black Tigers seem to be shooting themselves in the foot with a machine gun on this drive.
Paw, I think, shot himself in the paw.
Clock still ticking. We have 13 seconds and counting to go in the first quarter. Grizzlies up 7-zip, and we're going to have to see if the Falls can get a playoff here. 4, 3, 2, I don't think they'll do it. Bang, at the end of the quarter. So, after 12 minutes of play, Wadsworth leads Cuyahoga Falls here at Artwright Memorial Stadium 7-0. And now, we're going to have an interview coming up pretty soon here. Just waiting for the go-ahead.
Who's the Grizzly mascot?
Let's see if she's ready. She is ready. Amy Farrell with the Grizzlies mascot. Take it away, Amy.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. And now I'm here with Melissa Goss. And how did you become the Grizzly mascot?
Well, I'm in gymnastics, and I also play soccer, but I cheered all last year, and some of the cheerleaders and the coach wanted me to do some flips for the team and get everybody spirited all in the crowd, and just to have everybody have a really fun time, as well as cheer the team on.
And do you have to take gymnastics and stuff for that?
Yes, I was on the team last year. I lettered, and I'll be on the team this year also.
Okay, do you like the position as mascot?
Yeah, I feel that I'm very happy helping the team and cheering the crowd with all the people from Wadsworth and just having a good time with my friends.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. And now back to you, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Amy. Very good job on the interview, coming from behind the camera onto the field. Very impressive. And thank you, Missy, the Grizzly mascot, for being our guest here. We've played one quarter here, and the Grizzlies lead Cuyahoga Falls 7-zip. It was an 11-yard touchdown run by Brian Madigan going over the right side of the line. Dan Razor at tackle, Josh Hendricks at guard, and the Grizzlies strike gold. And now it's 2nd and 33 for Cuyahoga Falls as we shift to the left side of the field on your TV screen. Joe Nice is the tailback. They'll give it to the up man, and trying to break loose is Bob Shannon, the junior fullback. Shannon wearing number 22, and he puts his head down, gets across the 10. Looks like he got about 4 or 5. He got 5 as they're on the 11. 3rd and 28. So they made up that last penalty, that last false start penalty, but it is 3rd and Texas.
Really? A lot of real estate.
The Tigers on the 11, they have to get to the 39. And it's going to be a run play. And Joe Nice is stuffed for a loss of 2 on what seemed to be an obvious passing down. Again, leading the charge, Josh Hendricks with some help from Josh McCall. A couple of Joshes again, and the Grizzlies could get the ball back again in good field position, Dad.
The Grizzlies have to really feel good about this. You know, they pride themselves on their defense. Over the years, their defense has been stellar, and they're doing the job tonight. They brought their lunch boxes and their helmets, and they're ready to do the work.
Deep to receive for the Grizzlies is number 4, Jason Knapp, the senior. We'll see how he does, and we'll also see, it looks like the other 9 or 10 Grizzlies will be up on the line, so we may get a rush of this kick. Ready to boot the ball away is the junior, number 15, Wade Worthington. We do get a rush, and they almost get it. Brian Madigan came from the left side, almost got it. Knapp over the shoulder catch at the 46, up to the 40, stays in bounds, but no, they say he stepped out of bounds. But he's at the 39, and a more good field position for Wadsworth.
That ball was so close to getting blocked. They got a good pursuit off the line. Matter of fact, I thought for a moment the Grizzlies were going to get called for offsides, but they anticipated that snap perfectly, came blowing in there, and that's going to give the Falls another thing to worry about.
And another thing to worry about when the Grizzlies are rushing in like that, that helps the punt returner, Jason Knapp, because it doesn't allow the Tigers to get downfield as quickly. 1st and 10, Grizzlies on the 38 of Cuyahoga Falls. Wadsworth again with good field position. The west wing Madigan goes in motion, takes the handoff, and he is swarmed under by one man, Brian Coleman, 6'3", 290. A big guy, a junior for the Falls, brings down Madigan.
And you talk about big, he just swallowed up Brian Madigan. It was like, you talk about the bear hug being on the wrong team. He gave Brian Madigan a big bear hug at the line of scrimmage.
Madigan maybe gained a couple of feet. It'll still be 2nd down and 10. Got some stats courtesy of our stat man here. Wadsworth with 46 yards on the ground, 6 through the air for a total of 52 in the first quarter. Wadsworth held Cuyahoga Falls to 7 total yards. Grizzlies still impressive on defense, holding over from last year. Cranston tosses into the right flat, falling down, no catch, looking for the fullback, Josh McCall, out of the backfield, just a little bit low. McCall couldn't hang on.
And again, Ian had time to throw. This time he is rolling out, and that's the designed rollout. Unlike last week, we saw him chased out of the pocket.
He does seem to have a lot more confidence out there because he's not worried about getting attacked. 9:40 to go in the first half. Grizzlies on top of Cuyahoga Falls, 7-zip here in the home opener. Wadsworth, after a very tough performance last week, just barely lost 3-0 to a playoff team from last year, Cloverleaf. Now looking to exact some revenge on Cuyahoga Falls, also a very good team. A fake to the west wing. Madigan way deep. Oh, just missed it, going over the shoulder. And he was looking for Brian Madigan, I believe.
You saw it there. That was
Brian Thompson, number 7.
Brian Thompson, the ball came right on him. Nicely thrown ball. And again, I hope you noticed that Ian Cranston stepped up into the pocket. That's what he's been designed to do all week. And boy, he had enough time to have a root beer and a sandwich too.
And Thompson had his man beat by 2 steps. I wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Shepard go back to that play maybe in the second half. And getting the ball away is Craig McNamara, trying to keep the ball inside the 20. It's going to hit at the 13. Grizzlies jump on it on the 13. Collaring the ball is the senior, 44, Shane Robinson. So we have 9:25 to go in the second quarter. Wadsworth still on top of the Falls, 7-zip. And Dad, I would like to thank you for taking over for me when my tire got shredded out on I-76.
Oh my.
I don't know what I ran through, but the tire is a mess.
What did you use in place of the tire?
A spare tire. A friend of mine actually stopped on the highway and saw me and helped me fix the tire. My friend Joe, who was one of the Elvises with me on Halloween.
Good thing, because I'd still be here doing play-by-play.
Yeah, okay. But I'm sure you can handle it. 1st and 10 from the 13 for the Falls. Up the middle's Joe Nice. Now he has some room. Tries to spin away, but the Grizzlies pursue and bring him down on the 19. It'll be a gain of 6 for Joe Nice. And at the bottom of the pile for the Grizzlies is Josh McCall. He had a lot of help. Also got to credit Craig McNamara helping out on the play along with Brian Madigan.
Some of you Grizzly fans will certainly remember Jim Reynolds, one of our premier running backs many years ago. Joe Nice reminds me a lot of Jim Reynolds. You can't just put one hat on him. He's got really great balance, and he bounces off the tackle. And it's going to take a gang to keep him contained.
2nd down and 4 for the Black Tigers on the 19. Still in the eye. With Shannon, the fullback, he'll take it. Breaks one tackle. Actually, he doesn't. He drags a man ahead for the first down. Well, pretty close to it, I believe. Shane Robinson grabbed him around the ankles, and Shannon fell forward, and he did get 4 yards and the first down.
A basic 4 yards and a cloud of turf.
And some of the Falls fans over on the right side here going nuts as they have the cheerleaders in front of them. Sort of a different situation here in Wadsworth, as you have the partisan fans on the left from, if you're the press box, and you've got the opposing fans on the right. Usually it's each contingent gets one side of the field. And they will give it to Shannon again. He does not get much, as Craig Empsch again coming up with a nice play. Picked up 1, if that.
The Wadsworth Grizzlies continue to stay in that 5-3. It's really a 4-4, but they bring up their renegade back, put him on the line, and make it a basic 5-3, and it is stopping the Falls Tigers from getting wide.
Remember, Dad, last week when we were in Lodi, we saw Cloverleaf. Ted Wright was their big running back. He didn't gain any more than 30 yards, and this is a guy who rolled up 2,500 yards in his first 3 years. We thought he was going to be Herschel Walker or Barry Sanders or somebody, but he wasn't against the Grizzlies. Quick hitter over the middle to Brandt, and we have an incomplete pass. Some nice work back there in the defensive secondary, as Jason Knapp was around the play, as was Aaron Russell.
And we got to hand it to Coach Shepard here. This has been a really effective defense. This 5-3 modified 4-4 defense is really giving opposing teams fits as far as picking up a lot of yardage.
Brandon Henneman, the tight end, number 11, was the intended receiver. But now here on the Grizzlies sideline, Dad, we see a couple of Grizzlies warming up. I think it's number 12, Eric Norman, who's on the left, who is throwing with a sophomore, Joe Waters. I believe Norman is the backup quarterback. Maybe Cranston might have gotten a little banged up. Rolling and throwing, and almost an interception for Josh McCall. McCall got his hands up there, batted the ball down, couldn't quite corral it. But again, the Grizzlies' pass defense red hot, and it's 4th and 9. It'll be another false punt.
Another possibility is in the warm-ups, we're watching Eric Norman catch as a wide receiver. So he may be warming up to receive some too. So
Norman seems to have something on those throws. If I had to make a guess, I would think it might be Norman who would be warming up, but we should also be looking out for Cranston.
Well, that's all going to be...
Actually, it is Waters, I'm told, thank you very much, is the backup quarterback. We need to look for Cranston. He has his helmet off here. We'll see what's going on with him. Getting the ball away is Wade, and it's Knapp. Knapp has it. He's trying to get across midfield, and he does with an incredible effort. Second effort, third effort, and he's got more good field position for the Grizzlies to Cuyahoga Falls 48. It was Wade Worthington, the punter, getting the punt off, but Wadsworth starting for the 3rd straight time in Cuyahoga Falls territory.
If we don't, now we see Ian Cranston. We have the luxury of having Amy Farrell as our field reporter. It'll be her job to cover any injuries for us, but it looks like Ian is shaking off whatever was bothering him.
He is out there as the Grizzlies take over on Cuyahoga Falls 48. Wadsworth leads Cuyahoga Falls 7-zip. We have 6:50 to go in the second quarter. Very glad you're joining us for Grizzlies football. Little crisscross, and Brian Madigan takes the ball and gets ahead across the 45, near the 44. Pick up a 4. Ian Cranston got knocked down, and that tells you what a great fake that was.
I was going to say, if you got faked as bad as I did, I was watching Ian Cranston thinking he got stopped back there. And a really nice job of carrying through on the fakes.
2nd down, 5 now. Jake Carmody checks back in at number 5. Wearing number 5, that is. I believe he's the receiver to the top of your screen. And Cranston calling out the signals as the Grizzlies move around into the east wing. They will pitch it to Madigan. Madigan corralled in the backfield. And making the play for the Falls is Jason Krennick, senior defensive end. number 63 on the stop.
Also helped in there by Kevin Harper, number 73.
He lost about 3. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for the Grizzlies. So again, we're going to see how the Grizzlies can do in a passing scenario. They've come pretty close to connecting, especially on that big bomb to Brian Thompson, which was almost 6 more points.
The yellow flag you saw there was just dropped laundry. Not real.
You know how that happens. Brian Thompson, that receiver I just spoke of, is split to the left, bottom of your screen. They will fake it to Madigan. Cranston showing some poise. Now he's surrounded, gets it off to McCall. Knocked out of bounds near the first down, but I believe about half a yard short. Great job by Cranston as the walls came tumbling down.
I would say,
just like Jericho.
I would say a lot of poise. That poise was not there last week against Cloverleaf, but he stood in there with all kinds of swirling things going around him and delivered.
Remind me of James Bond, 007. Got a couple of Bond fans up here in the booth. 4th and 1 from the Falls 40. Bit of a tongue twister there, and the Grizzlies look like they're going to punt, but they have a vanguard of 3 backs, and it will be a punt. McNamara, line drive, hits at the 14, rolls, picked up at the 6, and making a cut in there, and finally getting knocked out of bounds is Frank Simon. Good pursuit by the Grizzlies special teams.
You may have just seen it.
Robinson and Hendricks.
Adam Steiner wearing number 6, I believe that's him. Just a hellacious hit. Just stop that play in its tracks. Oh, I'm sorry.
Aaron Russell looks like there for the Grizzlies. Number 6.
There we go. Get the right team here.
Okay, I'll keep the Falls over here.
Good idea. I'll keep the Grizzlies over here. And
we are coordinated here. 5:19 to go in the first half. Wadsworth on top of the Falls, 7-zip.
We'll put the yellow pages back over there.
Bill Brandt, the quarterback, pitches to Joe Nice. They're chasing him. And some nice pursuit there. Good stop, Craig Emch. Had a little bit of help, but nice job there. Craig McNamara, free safety. He's very good at supporting the run from the free safety position, number 11 for the Grizzlies.
You may have heard some Wadsworth coaches just above us yell, clip, clip, clip. So they saw something, but the referees, who are a little closer to the play.
Coaches always have the best seat in the house on those penalty calls, don't they?
They really do. They really do.
Pickup of 1 by Joe Nice there, as the Grizzlies defense doing a good job of team defense, I should say. And it's Sean Fugarino split all the way to the right bottom of your screen. It looks like Brandt looks him off, tries the other side, down the sidelines, and beautiful job knocking the ball away from Adam Steiner. And that was Jason Knapp at the right cornerback spot. Brandt lofted the ball in there for Adam Steiner, and perfectly played by Jason Knapp of Wadsworth.
That's the first time Jason Knapp has been challenged back there deep, and I think he did himself proud.
And you remember last week for Cloverleaf, their quarterback was trying to pick on Knapp in the early going there, and it didn't work. They were trying to throw a lot of short passes Knapp's way, and it took a little while. Knapp had some bad footing on the rainy ground last week, but then he really started to shut him down, and a great play this week. 3rd down 9. Another passing down for Bill Brandt, running for his life, chasing him is Robinson. He hits Joe Nice, but hitting Joe Nice is Jason Joy, short of the first down. A fine stop. Jason Joy.
He's been all over the field tonight. I think they may have been picking on Jason Knapp because they're trying to get a mismatch against him. He's 5'7", and they had a much taller player against him. But one thing you have to take into consideration, Knapp is a really great athlete and has a good vertical leap too. So he plays a lot taller than 5'7".
4th down and 2 as Joe Nice picks up 7 on that pass, and it'll be another punting down for Cuyahoga Falls. No turnovers in this game, I believe. I think it's 5 punts now. This will be the 5th punt for the Tigers. Grizzlies with 4 punts and a touchdown. It was an 11-yard run from Brian Madigan, and again Madigan almost blocked that punt. This punt is going to hit and roll. Jason Knapp is going to let it roll, and it will be at the 35 of the Grizzlies. This is the worst field position the Grizzlies have gotten in a while, but definitely Wadsworth still ahead in the field position battle.
We don't have the exact statistics here, but it appears that the Wadsworth Grizzlies are raking up a lot more yardage than the Falls Black Tigers are.
As we mentioned, after one quarter, the Grizzlies did have a 46-7, actually a 52-7 lead in yards in the first quarter. We'll see what the halftime stats are when that comes up. We have 3:40 until halftime. Wadsworth trying to add on to the 7-0 lead against the Black Tigers. Tigers are 1-0 after beating the Firestone Falcons last week, and they look very impressive. Beautiful fake there by Ian Cranston, and taking the ball is Madigan. Madigan gets up to the 39, and he picks up 5 right on first down. So the Grizzlies have moved the ball well on first down too. Haven't been too many 3rd and long situations.
I don't know about you, but Ian Cranston is driving me nuts. I can't tell what he's doing on those fakes, and if it's, you know, and I think he's fooling some of the Black Tigers also.
Well, better for him to do that on our team than have it be on the other team.
Right.
70-30, Grizzlies lead the yardage, we're told now. Now here they're going to run the same play. Back to Madigan. Madigan gets across the 40 to the 41. Pickup of about 3 more. It'll be 3rd and 3. Brian Madigan, they like his speed, and he's usually used coming from the west wing, sweeping around right end. And of course, Grizzlies love to run behind Josh Hendricks and Dan Razor on that right side.
I would like to run behind Josh Hendricks and Razor. They're big, strong kids, and they're surprisingly fast, too, for their size.
It'll be 3rd down and 3 for the Grizzlies on the 41. Clock still ticking, 2:15 to go until halftime. Wadsworth looking to expand on a 7-0 lead. Cranston, play action fake, looking, and it is juggled and caught, but for not much of a gain, perhaps a loss. Brian Madigan tried to hang on to the ball, which he did, but Frank Simon was right there, and he was not near first down. It'll be another punt for the Grizzlies, their 5th.
Again, good coverage by the Black Tigers, that they're kind of smelling out the play and coming after pursuit.
We are inside 2 minutes now, 1:45 to go. And Craig McNamara set to punt. 2 people back there for the Black Tigers. On the right is Frank Simon, number 13. And
nice.
It's going to be a pop-up, and that will actually help the Grizzlies because Joe Nice is the other one, and it will take a good Grizzly bounce to the 31 as Shane Robinson downs it. And the Black Tigers are 69 yards away from pay dirt with only 1:24 to go in the half. So I guess we'd have to say that up until right now, and we should knock on wood, Grizzlies again with a very fine defensive performance against a good offensive team and a good offensive running back in particular.
Yeah, I think Coach Ramsey Shepard is basically letting his defense do the work here and say, Black Tigers, if you want this thing, you're going to have to try to beat this really good defense. And he's punting and letting them work from there.
Big pass play here as their featured runner, Joe Nice, is now in the slot left, so you can tell they're going to pass. Looking up to the up man, Sean Fugarino. He makes the grab, but he is stopped short of the first down, a pickup of 8, as the Grizzlies are in on the tackle. Nice stop there by the left corner, number 2, Brian Madigan. It will be 2nd and 2, but yards don't matter too much now as we're down to 47 seconds and counting. Again, Bill Brandt to throw for Cuyahoga Falls. The pocket collapses around him, and the Grizzlies collapse on him.
That was
Give
really
a big credit there to George. I don't think he got credit for the sack, but he held him up long enough for everybody else to sack.
Exactly.
Fine play by George.
George just caused havoc back there. Broke up the play and made the quarterback run out of the pocket.
Clock still ticking, 23 seconds. Quick hitter, fumbled. Not fumbled, but fumbled off the fingertips, incomplete, as Brandt was looking for his junior man, split end Adam Steiner.
Josh McCall almost came up with that ball on the deflection. He's on the ground and it's landed within a couple feet of him, so.
McCall has close to a couple interceptions. He's one of those linebackers who's always around the ball. He's like a, what do you call it, a watchdog who can sniff, and he can sniff for the ball. 4th and 9, they call timeout, and it looks like the Falls is going to punt again. And that is going to be the case.
This has got to be a little surprising for the Falls. They're used to rolling up some yardage, and they're not used to getting beat like this on defense. But
what I'm surprised is that Falls didn't call any timeouts on that drive. They haven't had called any timeouts since I've been here, and I've only missed the first drive. So sort of some strange coaching there by Dan Ross of the Black Tigers. We're down to 20 seconds to go before halftime, and Wadsworth may have one more play after they get this punt back, and the Grizzlies lead Cuyahoga Falls 7-zip.
We'll see if I hesitate to say if the Grizzlies are going to go into the prevent defense, because the Cleveland Browns used to have what we laughingly referred to as the prevent defense, which very often just prevented the Cleveland Browns from winning. I think they might have to play a little softer in the field. They don't want to get beat deep. They'll give them the yards in the middle of the field, but they're not going to let anybody get behind them.
We will have to see if they are going to punt or not. They took a long time talking about a punt, so there may be something fishy going on around here. As Wade Worthington back there in punt position, only one man deep, we're going to have to see. It is a punt on the up and up, if you'll pardon the pun. Here is Jason Knapp breaking one tackle, heading towards the sidelines. He's got the fake sideline, 40, inside the 30, and all the way to the 31. 8 seconds, and the clock is stopped. Now, the Grizzlies are going to have to call a timeout here, because if you remember, at the end of the Cloverleaf game, Wadsworth thought that they had one more play. And when they came up to the line, the last 7 seconds ticked off the clock, and the Grizzlies were as surprised as a 16-year-old getting a car on their birthday.
Something that never happened to you.
Never did.
No.
But I'm not bitter.
No,
I understand.
I know. He's not bitter, he says.
So we'll see what the Grizzlies can do. A fine punt return by Jason Knapp. 20 yards on the punt return. And you spoke of the prevent defense, Dad. If you can see in the backfield for the defensive backfield, the defensive back spread all over the backfield, so this is a prevent defense for Cuyahoga Falls. But now we seem to have a big penalty and maybe a clip. It is a clip on the Grizzlies on the punt return. So perhaps that clip did contribute to that return by Knapp.
Wow, I was watching
nice looking
Knapp.
return.
I was not watching Knapp, so it's very possible there's a clip in there, but 8 seconds left. The Grizzlies will probably not take any chances.
It is a timeout for the Grizzlies, so they don't have that time running off the clock trick work against them again.
I would rather doubt that Ian Cranston can throw one that far into the end zone for the tip Hail Mary, you know.
So still 8 seconds to go. Grizzlies at their own 41 as the coaches pile out of the press box, actually the coaches box.
That does not mean, of course, that the Grizzlies have been left abandoned while the coaches go get a coffee and a hot dog. These are some of the men who are getting down the locker ahead of time, but the people who really count are still where they're supposed to be, folks. So don't ask for your money back. You won't get it anyway.
Okay, Wadsworth on top, 7-0. We're going to have to see how the Grizzlies, see if the Grizzlies offense can maybe put a little more on the board. They've come close. That pass to Brian Thompson, if that would have been just over the other shoulder, the Grizzlies could be up 14-zip. And the way the defense is playing for the Wadsworth, just spectacular. Grizzlies could be on their way to something good here. We'll have to see if the Grizzlies can maybe come out with a good offensive show to support that defense, which has been good as gold.
Grizzlies have to feel real good about this first half. They've showed more offense in this half than they did the entire game last week. So they're moving the ball and mixing up plays.
59 yards away from the goal line with 8 seconds to go in the half, and it will be Neal, and going down is Ian Cranston as the final seconds do tick off. So that was sort of much ado about nothing, as Shakespeare would say.
I think he did. He did.
Okay, we have played half the game here in Wadsworth at Artwright Memorial Stadium. Your halftime score, the Wadsworth Grizzlies 7, the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers nothing. Stay tuned for the second half, and it looks like we are going to stay tuned for an interview as well. In fact, we will keep it right here as we seem to have another interview down on the field, just waiting for the high sign before we go to Amy Farrell and her interview subjects. Looks like a couple of cheerleaders down there. So don't get that popcorn yet.
Or if it's microwave, set it on 3 minutes and
then come and check out the interview.
Check us out.
Okay. Well, we should mention, as we're waiting here, Brian Madigan scoring the only touchdown, the only score of the game. Big 11-yard touchdown run. And we are ready to go. Let's take it to Amy Farrell on the field. Take it, Amy.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Now I'm back here with some of the cheerleaders, and your name is?
Tennille Nelson.
And yours?
Brooke Hahn.
How long have you been cheering?
I've been cheering about 9 seasons.
And what about you?
Since
We're back on Wadsworth Community Television. It's halftime in Wadsworth, and the Grizzlies have a 7-0 lead on the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers. And before we talk about the first half, quite a fine halftime show by the Wadsworth Band.
Super band, Wadsworth. We have the Wayward Son was played for us, and they did a nice medley of When a Man Loves a Woman. I remember that by Percy Sledge, but in your generation, it was done by Michael Bolton. Superb award-winning Grizzly marching band, and they were joined by the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers Band, another superb band in this area. So you had the flag line, you had the rifle corps, you had the field commanders. Who could ask for anything more?
Exactly. Great variety by the Grizzlies, closing out with the Ohio State theme song. And Ohio State tomorrow at the Horseshoe will take on the Washington Huskies. A big, big game for the Grizzlies. Huskies still reeling from those big sanctions that were handed down by the NCAA.
Ouch.
No Rose Bowl this year for the Huskies, no matter how good they do.
Not smelling the roses. Of course, that's got Michigan salivating in their Big Ten dreams, doesn't it?
Okay, we've got some halftime stats. The biggest stat on the scoreboard, 7-0 Wadsworth over Cuyahoga Falls. The Grizzlies got 53 yards on the ground and 13 in the air for a total of 66. Cuyahoga Falls with only 14 on the ground and 12 in the air for 26. So the yardage is Wadsworth 66, Cuyahoga Falls 26. Leading the way for the Grizzlies was Brian Madigan, who ran the ball 12 times for 46 yards. That's 3.8 yards a carry, and he has the only score of the game, an 11-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. And another thing, we mentioned George with the extra point. Extra points were hard to come by last year, and George 1 for 1 so far. Also, Ian Cranston through the air for the Grizzlies was 3 out of 8 for 13 yards. On the other side, the Grizzlies defense held Joe Nice, who is really one of the top running backs in the area, to 13 yards on 8 carries. That's only 1.6 yards a pop. Nice did not find the end zone. And Bill Brandt, the quarterback for Falls, 3 out of 10 for 17 yards. So a fine performance by the Grizzlies. We're ready to start the second half, and you're right there at the game in Wadsworth. And taking the ball is Brian Madigan. He's got lots of room. He's got 2 men to beat. He's beaten 1, breaks another tackle, and they finally bring him down to the 37. More explosive action from Brian Madigan. And Madigan is being mobbed on the sidelines by his very happy friends. Craig McNamara leading the hugging.
Well, we call that picking them up and putting them down. And they saw nothing but Brian Madigan's heels as he swept to the outside. That's a little shot in the arm, and it'll get the crowd up off their feet.
Great job on the right side of the special teams unit for the Grizzlies, opening up a cavernous hole for Brian Madigan. Okay, first down for the Grizzlies on the 37, actually very near the 36 of Cuyahoga Falls. Very nice. From the east wing, they will fake it and go up the middle to the fullback, Josh McCall.
Another great fake by Ian Cranston.
I know, I was looking at the other 2 running backs, Madigan and Knapp, and McCall busting through the gut for 9.
I swear I never saw him give the ball away on that. And I was looking at him and I never saw it.
Cranston doing a very good job last week, but we didn't see the real Houdini stuff that we're seeing this week. Second down 1, a very good scenario for the Grizzlies here. Again in the east wing, it's Knapp. Knapp has it. Left end has a lot of people on both sides of the ball chasing him, and he is near the first down as he cut back inside.
Some of you older fans may remember Ohio State University's Rex Kern, who was probably the best at hiding the ball. And it looks like Ian Cranston has been either reading his biography, taking a page out of his book.
Joe Nice on the stop from the cornerback spot, along with lineman Kevin Harper. But Knapp able to get the first down, did a good job, went to the outside, but cut back in for that last yard. Wadsworth on the 26 of Falls, after a spectacular punt return of about 34 yards or so by Madigan. Here's McCall again over left guard, running behind George. And he gets across the 25 down to the 23, 3 yards for McCall. McCall's really been the unsung hero here because he got 2 of those big first downs on the Grizzlies' touchdown drive back in the first quarter. On 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, Coach Ramsey Shepard will go to McCall.
McCall has been answering everything that Joe Nice has been throwing, but we do have a little piece of yellow hanky out there, and I thought it was, well, it's going to be against the Grizzlies. Could have a hold on it. So.
It is holding on the Grizzlies, and they will march Wadsworth back to the 34. So the Grizzlies lose 8 on that, as they say that the hold took place 2 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage. So it's an 8-yard penalty.
I see.
We're getting this holding penalty thing down.
Think so. That flag came in really late, too, so he pondered it before he...
Actually, they'll say it's a 7-yard penalty. First down and 17 from the Falls 35. They will fake it to Knapp and give it up the middle. Again, McCall, and he gets a lot of real estate back to the 26.
I'll tell you.
Pickup of 9, and he's back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I'm going to put my binoculars on. I'll tell you, I mean, if you don't catch that quick first move that Ian Cranston delivers that ball, you miss the whole caboodle.
Cranston 3 out of 8 passing for 13 yards, but he's really keyed the Grizzlies offense just by handing the ball off and pretending to hand the ball off to everybody else.
I'm looking at him with the binoculars. I want to see if I can see what he does this time.
Okay, here we go. They will give it up the middle again, just quick as lightning to Josh McCall.
It's a real quick little snap move, and he's delivering the ball right from his hip bone. And, I mean, that looks like a lot of practice went into it.
Grizzlies get down to the 23, where it'll be 3rd and 7. Pickup of 3 there for McCall. Again, running behind George, the left guard there for the Grizzlies. Also, Greg Steele, the center, doing a good job.
Grizzly line, offensive line, has just been controlling the Falls Black Tigers a good part of this game.
And again, this time they're going to go the other way, coming around the end and finally dragged down. It looks like it's going to be close to a Wadsworth first down. And that was Brian Madigan with a very fine play. And now Joe Nice just lipped off, and he's still lipping off, and we got a big penalty on, I believe, the Falls. Madigan was on his knees, Nice standing over him, yelling at him.
Probably making all sorts of references to his family.
It was on the Grizzlies. So maybe Madigan, I don't know.
I don't know. This situation where maybe 2 teams are getting a little hot under the collar. The Falls are clearly...
Could be an offsetting penalty here, too.
Yeah.
I only saw 1 flag go. We're going to have to get a clarification here.
Could be both teams are lipping off to each other, or we're not really ready to
I believe that it's just 1 penalty, and I believe it's just on Wadsworth. A personal foul. They're talking with Brian Coleman, the defensive captain, 6'3", 290. You can see the little panza hanging over his belt.
A little panza?
Little. I'm trying to be nice here. But it's going to be a big penalty here on Wadsworth. And it's a personal foul. But the Grizzlies,
I believe the Grizzlies did get the first down, and it should be 1st and 10, and of course, then we got the 15-yard penalty.
Sort of an odd scenario. The Grizzlies get the first down, and it's a dead ball foul. So Wadsworth had 1st and 10 on the 14, and then they slap the 15-yard penalty. So for the Grizzlies, it'll be 1st down and 25 from the 29 of the Falls. Grizzlies on the 29. They have to get to the 5, rather to the 4 for a first down. Grizzlies line up with 2 wide receivers, and Cranston with a play action. He faked it to Knapp, looking to a wide open Madigan. He's got it at the 4, and another touchdown for Wadsworth. Love it here in Wadsworth. Brian Madigan with a 29-yard touchdown pass from Ian Cranston. Cranston first time ringing it up through the air, and Wadsworth is up 13-zip.
I hate to say this, but Brian Madigan was as open as Denny's. That ball was not thrown with a lot of heat, but he was so alone that by the time he caught the ball, the Black Tigers finally got over to him. But boy, did he toast somebody.
Cranston will hold. George, number 76, looking for the extra point. He boots it up and in. 2 out of 2 tonight. We have 8:44 to go in the third quarter. Wadsworth leads Cuyahoga Falls 14-0. Brian Madigan scoring on the ground and through the air. He had an 11-yard touchdown run back in the first quarter, and now a 29-yard pass from Ian Cranston. And Dad, the Grizzlies, after last week, knew that if they could just give Cranston a couple seconds of time, their receivers had the speed to get open.
That was what was just driving the Wadsworth coaches nuts, because they were getting their wide receivers open, and poor Ian was under 2 or 3 colts every time he wanted to throw. And they felt, too, that if that line could hold the defense out for just another second or two, he was going to hit the open man. And I think the Black Tigers are in a little bit of disarray. They're not used to being treated this way.
Got to credit the Grizzlies' offensive line. Josh Hendricks and Dan Razor on the left side. George and Mark Crow. We haven't mentioned Mark Crow, the left tackle. He's done a fine job as well. And Greg Steele in the middle. It's 14-0 Wadsworth kicking off to the visiting Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers. And this is the breathing room that we were talking about that Wadsworth really wanted to get. Taken at the 23-yard line by Frank Simon. Simon is able to bring it up for an 8-yard return to the 31, and that's where the Falls Black Tigers will take over.
It looked like Simon would have had some room to break it outside. He just went right into the pack, and he had a lot of green real estate. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
The Falls coaches have probably got to go pretty deep into the record books to see the last time they were held 26 yards. 26 yards in the first half.
Grizzlies held the Falls, like you just said, 26 yards in the first half. That's what I was just about to say. Here's Joe Nice taking over left guard, tries to cut back inside, and he runs into a man.
I believe that was Josh McCall who hit him right at the belt buckle. It was again. Josh McCall playing tough on both sides of the ball.
Nice tried to turn out to the right, and he ran smack dab into McCall. Aaron Russell, number 6, helped out there. And we're inside 8 minutes in the third quarter, and Wadsworth up 14-0 on a 29-yard touchdown pass from Ian Cranston to Brian Madigan. And Cranston just waiting to show that passing ability, and he finally got a chance. Second down 4. Nice gain 6 on that last one. Here he comes again. Right guard. Big hit there by Shane Robinson and friends. Robinson with a tough hit.
Speaking of tough hits, we have a Wadsworth Grizzly on that sideline. I believe it's number 7, but I'm not sure.
Nice is a quick guy, but he's not a little guy. He's 6 foot, 180. And Shane Robinson just stood him up, and it was like running into a wall.
Ian Cranston is down on the sideline, and it appears to be a cramp. He seems to be getting rubbed out at the calf muscle a little bit.
But Nice was able to pick up a few yards before he ran into Shane Robinson. It's going to be 3rd down and 1. A big defensive play here for the Grizzlies, trying to keep the momentum in their favor. 3rd and 1 from the 39. Give to Nice again. He breaks through, cuts to the outside. Grizzlies trying to stop him. Finally, Mike Levitt jumps on him at the 47. But that's going to be an 8-yard gain for Joe Nice and a 1st down. And the Falls trying to get their offense going. Like we said, 14 yards on the ground, 12 yards through the air in the first half. Just an anemic performance by their standards. Last week against Firestone, Bill Brandt threw for 120 yards on just 5 passes. That's a 24 yards per pass average. And here he has just 12 yards in the first half. I'm knocking on wood.
Yeah, we've got a lot of wood around us to knock on.
Exactly. Looks like they're going to try and end around. Sort of a broken play. Tripped and tackled in the backfield. Making the initial play for the Grizzlies looks like was Craig Emsch, but Josh Hendricks helped out there. And Wadsworth doing a good job of stopping Mike Beal. Beal lined up as a wingback to the left. He's a running back by trade, so they tried to use his speed, but it did not work at all. Mike Beal losing 4 yards there for Cuyahoga Falls. It'll be 2nd and 14. Falls on their 43. not only has Wadsworth been good on defense, but their kicking game has really helped on both sides, giving the Grizzlies an advantage in field position. Brandt likes this play. He likes to roll and throw. Fires toward the sidelines. Jumping up and making a nice play there is Jason Knapp. And I think the Falls wants a pass interference call, but they won't get it, as Knapp swatting at the ball, keeping it away from Sean Fugarino. Knapp's really showing some good instinct out there playing the ball. It's the second time we've seen a good play from Jason Knapp. Knapp, 5'7", 150, shows good speed on both sides of the ball. He's a two-way starter.
Right, it's a mistake to go at Brian Knapp and think you're going to get an advantage, because he's got a good leap and he's quick as a hiccup.
3rd down, 14. Falls on their 43. They got 2 wideouts, and they are going to pass. They're going to try to pass. Brandt rolling, all the way into his own backyard, and he throws it towards the coach, saying, "Here, you take it." Fans want an intentional grounding. Everyone calling bloody murder over here.
I was really thinking that was going to
pass.
I thought there was really going to be a screen the way it's set up. They let the Grizzlies come through, and then there was nobody to throw the screen to. So
it's what you may want to, maybe what they had in mind. Bill Brandt rolled back 24 yards. The play started on the 43, and he rolled all the way back to his own 19. So it would have to be a screen of epic proportions to even get back to the line of scrimmage.
I rather doubt, too, that play was intended to go to the popcorn vendor, which is over on the other side.
It's going to be 4th and 14, and Wade Worthington sounds like he should be in a library, but he's punting, and he makes the catch at the 31, and that is Jason Knapp. And the Grizzlies, this was a very important defensive series, because once you go up 2 touchdowns, you really want to slam the door, and that's exactly what the Grizzlies defense did.
The Grizzlies are playing like right now as though the score is 0-0, and their life depends on it. They want a victory in their home opener.
And Cuyahoga Falls coach Dan Ross, a really intense guy. I've seen him after games, after a win and after a loss. Really intense either way, and I'm sure he must be stewing over there, as his team has really been unable to do anything. Only 3 first downs in the game. Here's a pitch to the west wing. Coming around the wing is Brian Madigan, trying to use that speed. He puts his head down for about 5. Actually, give him 5 yards. Nice play there by Madigan.
Nice job following his blockers, too. The tendency would be to try to sweep it outside, but he did go up the back of his pulling guards.
Looks like we had Jason Joy up on the line from the tight end spot, doing some nice blocking there. Now Jake Carmody is in as a split end up to the top of your screen, and they're in the east wing, and that is Jason Knapp, the wingback, in motion. They will give it to Madigan again the other way, puts his head down, and he's going to get a first down. Very nice play.
Did a really good job of slipping a tackle there. He just kind of turned sideways and slid between 2 players.
7-yard gain for Madigan, and he picks up 12 yards in a pair of carries, and the Grizzlies have another first down.
This will be so big for the Grizzlies if they can just take the time off the clock and get in a long, grinding out touchdown.
Grizzlies leading the first down race now, 6-3. Down to 4:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. Wadsworth has the ball and a 14-0 lead on Cuyahoga Falls. They're going to go straight up the middle with Josh McCall, and he will pick up 1. He went right into the line, and he was met by a host of Black Tigers, most notably Brian Schuett, a 6'2" linebacker, and he's only a sophomore. Grizzlies have a sophomore starting to contribute, Craig Emsch, from the defensive tackle spot. 5'10", 205. He's really shown some mobility and some great instinct out there.
Yep, they bring along some of the underclassmen and looking to fill out this team for next year.
They give him 2. It's going to be 2nd and 8. Carmody is wide to the left, and Thompson is split right. They will pitch it out to Madigan. Madigan trying to get away. He does get away and falls forward to the midfield stripe, and that's going to be 3 more yards for Madigan. That'll set up 3rd and 5.
Nice tackle by Brian Coleman, a 6'3", a really big 6'3", 290-pound player. Just dove through the air and grabbed a little piece of him as he went around the side.
He's the defensive captain. He was one of the area leaders in sacks last year. He was in double digits.
Well, he's big, but he's also got really good speed. I'm sure there's going to be some college scouts out there saying,
There may be some here right now, Dad. 3rd down and 6. Grizzlies just a yard shy of midfield. And it's going to be a timeout for Wadsworth. Going to try to get their cronads and granules straight, as you would say.
I would certainly say cronads and granules.
Heard that expression all my life. We got 3:05 to go in the 3rd quarter, and a very good game here, 14-0. Last week's game, only 3-0, was very good.
Very good defensive struggle, and it was one of those games where you really get to see great linebackers coming to work and doing their job. Both Cloverleaf and the Wadsworth Grizzlies were putting on a display of really good linebacker work. The Grizzlies have moved from their 5-3. They seem to be a little more confident, go back to their 4-4 defense. That 5-3 is what they like to call their renegade defense, where they bring their, usually it's going to be Joshua Call, is going to come up on the line as a third lineman.
The Grizzlies up 14-0, a pair of touchdowns by Brian Madigan, covering a total of 40 yards. He had an 11-yard run in the 1st quarter and a 29-yard pass from Ian Cranston in the 3rd quarter. And overall, rushing, he has 16 rushes for 67 yards and a touchdown. And I believe that 29-yard pass was his only catch of the game. And Wadsworth really doing it on offense and defense and just trying to keep it up here. 3:05 to go in the 3rd quarter. And the Grizzlies do have their thing together now after the timeout. And now we have another delay as the official is now talking to Brian Coleman. And now the other official says, let's get this thing going. 3rd and 6 for the Grizzlies from their 49. They shift to the west wing now with Madigan. They'll fake it to Madigan. Cranston pumps, looks, and just out of the reach. Actually, it was in the grass, but incomplete. Intended for Jason Knapp. Knapp just did a little curl to the outside. Couldn't hang on. Looks like even if he caught it, there was a tackler in the vicinity. He may not have gotten the 1st down anyway. But a good shot.
Ball just a little bit behind him, and again, it's one of those things, you try to run before you catch the ball. As we've always talked about, do one thing at a time. Catch the ball, then get moving.
4th down for the Grizzlies. It's going to be Craig McNamara. Boots it away, heading towards Frank Simon. Simon fumbles it, and picking it up is the Grizzlies. Looks like it might be George. No. It is a very nice play there by number 96. Trying to figure out who that is. He's not in our program. Grizzlies with a big 86. That is Jerry Gale, a senior with an outstanding play. Jerry Gale, number 86, a senior, 5'7", 125 on the special teams with a big play for the Grizzlies. Recovering the fumble by Frank Simon, 1st turnover of the game, and this has the potential to let the Grizzlies strike the death blow, or what's pretty close to a death blow on Cuyahoga Falls. Great job for the Grizzlies. Frank Simon fumbled the ball, and Jason Gale comes up with it, and you can't advance a fumble, I believe. That's why you saw the umpire throw that little thing on the ground saying where the fumble was. But Jerry Gale comes up with it for the Grizzlies. Biggest play of his career. They'll do the crisscross and give it to Madigan. He's got a hole, but the blockers aren't there. They did a little decoy thing, but Madigan able to dance through traffic to the 15, and he picks up 7.
See, I appreciate Madigan's speed there. He is through that line so fast that he gets his 3 or 4 yards before the linebackers can do anything about it. This is a time for the Grizzlies to keep their poise. I mean, they realize that if they can get in there, it's going to be a backbreaker for the Falls, but they've got to stay together, stay glued.
You want to practice good ball control too. That's when you come up with a turnover, you got to make sure you keep the ball in your own hands. 2nd and 5 from the 15. They gave Madigan 5 on that last one. They will pitch it to Jason Knapp. Knapp trying to run away from some pursuers here. He's trying to get past Simon, and Simon hurls him to the ground in out-of-bounds territory. It was just at the edge of being a penalty, but not. And a 1st down for Wadsworth.
That was beyond the edge. I mean, he started that tackle. From where I was standing, he started that tackle right on the chalk line.
You may have a point. It looks like the spin and toss, the Jason Knapp toss, maybe a track and field sport. Yeah. At least for Cuyahoga Falls, it seemed like. It's going to be first down from the 6. That's a 9-yard gain for Jason Knapp. And when you run Madigan, and the defense is worried about Madigan, Knapp has similarly explosive speed, and he can burn you.
Those two are killing them. And that didn't look a whole lot from up here because it's going wide, but
and the
got a lot of air.
Black Tigers defense just seems befuddled out there. They don't know what to expect. First and goal from the 6 for Wadsworth. They're up by 2 touchdowns. They give it to Madigan, trying to bounce to the outside, and it's 3 TDs for Brian Madigan all night long. Brian Madigan scoring 3 touchdowns here, 2 of them here in the third quarter, and Wadsworth now out to a big 20-0 lead.
Great blocking inside coming this way. Great blocking inside, and Madigan just made a beeline for the post, or for the side marker. And
okay, on to kick the extra point is George. He's hit the first 2. Ian Cranston to hold. And he boots it up, and it's going to be no good. It's going to be wide to the left. But Grizzlies get 2 out of 3, and with 1:45 to go in the third quarter, your score is Wadsworth 20, Cuyahoga Falls nothing.
Nothing, honey.
And I'm sure some of the Falls faithful, I'm looking over here, it looks like a mausoleum. Nobody's smiling, nobody's laughing. People sort of milling around with furrowed brows, a little worried over here. Even the cheerleaders, hands on the hips, looking around saying, gee, when do we go home?
Right. Does anybody want a chair? Not me.
Not really.
Do you have any homework to do?
You know it's, I mean, it's not a blowout yet, but you know it would be a blowout if the cheerleaders did start doing some homework on a Friday night. We'll let you know. You'll be the first to know if that happens. Wadsworth up 20-0 on Cuyahoga Falls.
We'd like to give a good tip of the hat from up here to the offensive coordinator, Mike Smeltzer, who is just calling the plays like dealing off the bottom of the deck. He is driving them crazy.
Smeltzer's been like a maestro, like Leopold.
It's like the 5th Symphony under the baton of Dakyani, which is going to be tomorrow night at Severance Hall, so buy your tickets.
All right. Bringing you a little bit of culture. I mean, I think this is culture. I think sports is culture. Okay, taking the ball at the 24 is Joe Nice. He's trying to get a highlight film going for himself. It works for 17 yards up to the 41, and that's where the Tigers will take over. But they have been stymied on both sides of the ball by the Wadsworth Grizzlies.
Wadsworth Grizzlies just have to keep doing same old, same old. Don't let number 10 do his dance as he's done against so many other teams.
Stay tuned at the quarter break, and we are 1:39 away from the quarter break. We're going to have another Amy Farrell interview. She's done a fantastic job adding a whole new dimension to our telecast here on WCTV. Bill Brandt for Falls, looking for a quick hitter. It's batted at the line by Josh Hendricks and almost intercepted by both Josh McCall and Brian Madigan. They both had a shot at it.
Oh, Brian
but the big left paw of Josh Hendricks, a great job. McCall has been inches away from 3 interceptions.
Exactly. He seems to be on the ground when the ball is tipped in the air, and is one of these days, hopefully tonight, the ball's going to land on him while he's on his back, because he's always around the ball.
Getting the tomahawk chop going here in the press box. Speaking of that, the Atlanta Braves are just a game out of first. They have been phenomenal since they got Fred McGriff, but that's a whole nother sport.
Indeed.
1:26 to go, third quarter. Falls looking for something here. Jumping off and jumping back is Kevin, that's George.
So even if you don't make contact, it's still considered a no-no?
Well, in high school, yes, you don't have to make contact. In the pros, you can jump up and jump back.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like doing the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around.
Jump up, jump back.
It's going to be a 5-yard dinger against the Grizzlies. That'll make it 2nd and 5 from the 46 of Cuyahoga Falls. Rarely have the Tigers ventured into Grizzly territory. They haven't ventured at all deep into Grizzly territory. Grizzlies have been able to stop the Falls at midfield and be able to frustrate them by A bunch of punts. Giving to Nice, trying right guard. Bounces to the outside, but look at that. Look at
59.
Jason Joy coming in from the weak side linebacker spot. The side where there's not a tight end, that's the weak side. Joy bursting through and single-handedly collaring Joe Nice.
He was on Joe Nice like a cheap suit.
Like a cheap suit.
I mean, and Joe did not think
I've worn some cheap suits in my time.
Yeah. Well, you'll be wearing more too.
You know it. 3rd down 4. Nice able to pick up 1 on that. It was 2nd and 5. Now 3rd and 4. We have 49 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. Wadsworth up 20 zip. Bill Brandt trying to run the Oklahoma option. Spun down again by Jason Joy. He is like a heat-seeking missile out there.
It looks like number 41, Josh McCall, is playing. He's playing Joe Nice man-to-man. He's from the rest of this game. Wherever Nice is, McCall is going to be in his pocket.
And the Falls coaching staff just has to be shaking their heads. What do we do here? No gain on that play. It's going to be 4th down and 4, and it's going to be another Black Tiger punt. And the student section, as we're told by Scott Callahan, our stat man, one of our stat men, on their feet. They are jamming. They're going back and forth with the cheerleaders, having a fantastic time. It's still... You could probably still drop a pin on the Falls side, and now they're going to say that Jason Knapp had his knee down. Knapp doesn't concur with that call, but it doesn't matter, does it? No. On the 31, the Grizzlies take over.
His body language suggested that he did not concur, but it's not one of those things like, if you don't concur, okay, well, we'll change the call.
I know, it's not a democracy out here.
No, it isn't.
So a marked contrast in the mood of the fans.
And the Grizzly cheerleaders have a lot to cheer about, and probably the warmest person down there is the mascot, covered up with all that fur.
Okay, that was the 8th punt by Wade Worthington. 247 yards worth of punts. Okay, that is the end of the 3rd quarter. Your score, the Wadsworth Grizzlies 20, the visiting Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers nothing, and we're standing by for another Amy Farrell interview, and I believe we will have such an interview. But let's recap the scoring here in the 3rd quarter.
Okay, now I'm back to tell you about the helmets. These are new helmets this year, and instead of the big W on it, there's a grizzly bear. And they also have new jerseys, too.
As you see, Grizzlies with the brand spanking new jerseys.
I've been teaching in this school for a couple thousand years. I've never seen anything except a W on the side of the helmets, and so this is a new one for me. The white Grizzly on the red helmet.
The times they are changing indeed, and after 3 quarters, the Grizzlies have 117 yards on the ground, 33 through the air for a total of 150. And still, we're told now, John Mosier along with Scott Callahan, our stat crew, telling us that the Falls has 27 yards on the ground and 17 through the air. So the Grizzlies winning the yardage battle after 3 quarters, 150 to 44. And I'm sure the pundits didn't think this would happen. Play action, they go up the middle to Josh McCall, and McCall gets ahead for, I believe, 2, ahead to the 33. You know, and I never see, every time Josh McCall gets the ball, I'm the last to know.
Right. The thing is, you have to watch the immediate snap from center because it's like a nanosecond before he gets the ball.
Pickup of 1, they'll give it, as football is a game of nanoseconds.
I have no idea how long a nanosecond is, but it's not very darn long. Boy, that's Mr. Varner.
All sorts of running backs running around. It's Madigan getting the call, right end, and he gets across the 35 to the 37, picking up 4 more, where it'll be 3rd and 5. Grizzlies doing the little Chinese fire drill. They're sending Knapp to the left, they're sending Madigan to the right, they're sending McCall up the middle, and Ian Cranston is playing Guess What's in My Hand.
Exactly, and the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers cannot figure it out any better than we can.
Well, it's nice to know we're all on the same page.
We're all on the same page.
3rd and 5 coming up. We are in the 4th quarter, and Wadsworth is on top 20 to nothing. a fantastic defensive performance again, and the offense has exploded behind 3 TDs from Brian Madigan. Great line play as well on both sides. Here comes Jason Knapp trying to run behind the Great Wall of China. He cuts back through Tibet. He coughs it up. I believe the Grizzlies have it, but the Tigers may have wishful thinking here. It looks like Josh Hendricks, number 75, fell on the ball on the 40, and he was joined by a host of people, and it is Hendricks with the ball.
Good job, Josh, because the poor guy was the only red jersey in that pile.
Again, you can't advance the fumble, so the fumble took place on the 40. The Grizzlies had to get to the 41. So, 4th down and a little bit less than a yard, but it will be a punting situation for the Grizzlies from just across their own 40. So, Craig McNamara, number 11, set to punt. Actually, we'll have a measurement. We will punt no ball before it's time.
That's true, before it is properly measured.
Going to the Juan Valdez Football School.
We will punt no ball before it's time.
It's about 80% of a football short of a first down. Picture a football, chop the nub off it, and the rest of it is how short the Grizzlies are.
But then the air comes out of the ball, and it's real.
And I know what happens when the air comes out.
Oh, yes. You've had an experience like that already.
Okay, it's going to be single safety. That's Joe Nice. Usually the Black Tigers have had 2 back there. Frank Simon fumbled last time, so he's nowhere in sight. They give it to Joe Nice. He stands there, and he's crushed by the Grizzlies. Very nice play there for Jason Joy, number 59. Nice hesitated a little bit, and Joe said, Jason Joy said, if you hesitate, I'll hit you.
That it is indeed not a pigskin. Verily, it is a cow skin.
A cow skin?
A cow skin. In high school football, I believe it's made of leather and not oink oink material.
Wow. When did that happen?
I'll tell you, life is just filled with little moments of truth.
Why wasn't I informed?
I wasn't either, but I'd like to thank Scott Callahan for filling us in.
We told you about the 8 punts on the Falls side. McNamara has punted the ball 6 times for 172 total yards. So that is about 28 yards a punt. Quick hitter over the middle, almost intercepted. Actually, it's batted down at the line. They were looking for Brandon Henneman, the tight end, and again knocked down at the line. Shane Robinson, number 44, thank you, with the SWAT. And so Josh Hendricks has 1, and now Shane Robinson has 1. Grizzlies playing great all over the place.
Thrown with a lot of heat, a lot of pepper on it, so you kind of wonder, trying to thread it through all those red jerseys.
If you're taping this game, and I hope you are, make sure you put a little star on this tape once you pop it out of there, because this is one that you're going to want to go back and view again. When you're looking through all your Grizzlies tapes, say, which one do I want to see? How about Wadsworth versus Cuyahoga Falls? Fumble by Brandt. Coming up with it is Brandt again. Robinson tackles him.
In other words,
it will be a 1-yard gain. Jason Joy helping out as well. And that will be 3rd down and 9 coming up. We're down to 9:37 to go, and the clock's starting to work against the Black Tigers. This is really a do-or-die play for them, because if they have to punt the ball away, I doubt that they'll get 3 more possessions in the last 9 minutes. So this is where they're going to air it all out here. Grizzlies trying to shut him down one more time. Brandt to throw, doing that Elway roll, tosses it, caught. No, it's not caught. Well, no, they are saying it is an incomplete pass, and the Grizzlies again all over the ball looking for Joe Nice. A lot of Grizzlies there. It was Aaron Russell, Josh McCall, Brian Madigan, a lot of Grizzlies there, and they stopped Cuyahoga Falls again.
Excellent coverage, considering that you'd think they'd be willing to give a little bit down here and avoid the deep ball, but they're just playing tough all over the field. So.
And they're not going to like the results of this back in Cuyahoga Falls. I was supposed to save a seat here for the reporter from the Cuyahoga Falls News Press, and he's not here, I don't think.
He can have any seat he wants, it looks like. There's a lot of Cuyahoga Falls license plates.
He may be somewhere else, but he'll have to drive all the way back from Wadsworth to Stowe, and it looks like he'll have to write up a story of a loss. That's what it's looking like with exactly 9 minutes to go. Wadsworth has the ball on a 20-0 lead. Grizzlies will take over from the 35. after the 9th Cuyahoga Falls punt. All 9 Cuyahoga Falls drives have ended in a punt. Grizzlies have punted the ball 6 times. They've scored 3 touchdowns, and they were the beneficiary of the only turnover, and that was by Jerry Gale. And the Falls with just 2 first downs on the game. Running from the east wing, they'll give it to the fullback, Josh McCall. Oh, and we got a little pushing and shoving after the play there between Mark Crow, the left tackle, and his man on the opposite side, Jason Krennick.
You know, we don't pay attention in these things, but the Beacon Journal coaches and reporters all picked this to be a big win for the Black Panthers.
I was about to ask you that because I haven't seen who they've been picking. They picked the Falls?
I think their quote was, the Falls are too big and too strong.
Looks like their eyebrows might pop up as well. 2nd and 5. Madigan goes the other way, trying to break through. We got a flag down. May have a holding call as Madigan brought down just over the line of scrimmage.
To get the quotation right, the Wadsworth is not strong enough to stop the running attack of Cuyahoga Falls, is what they said.
I'd be surprised that they would say that, Dad, because the Grizzlies surprised everybody with how well they handled Ted Wright, the running back for Cloverleaf, and Scott Gasper, who was also a very good passer. A couple of good offensive weapons for the Colts last week, and the Grizzlies ground them down to almost nothing. And it will be holding on the Grizzlies, and Wadsworth will go 10 yards and change, a couple more back from there. So the Grizzlies are going to have 2nd down again, but on the 11-yard penalty, it'll be 2nd and 16, and the Grizzlies will line up on their 29. Well, but the clock is the Grizzlies' friend. A 20-point lead. We're inside 8 minutes, and we're ticking.
Exactly. They just want to keep grinding that ball out.
Jason Knapp splits to the top of the screen. Brian Thompson at the bottom. They go to the 2-back offense without any of these east or west wings. Play action fake. Cranston running from 1 man, running from 2 men, and he is dropped. And the sack will go to Brian Schuett, number 57, that sophomore we were telling you about. And the Grizzlies go back a little more, actually 7 yards more. It's going to be, well, Ian, 3rd and a while.
Ian did a good thing there. He didn't throw the ball away. He didn't throw it into the interception. Patient enough to say if it's not there, it's not there, and he had to eat the ball. But
Grizzlies on the 22. They have to get to the 45. It's going to be 3rd and 23. We'll see what Wadsworth does. If anything, you just don't want to turn it over, especially with your back up against the wall. If the play's not there, you don't make it. And you just punt the ball safely away. They will keep it on the ground and give it to Jason Knapp. Knapp trying the corner, tries to cut back, and he gets across to the 30 before being sandwiched.
We have seen that cutback all night long. It looks like he's going to string it out. He plants his foot and goes upfield, and so far it's worked every time.
Steve Arbaugh and Nate Haybeck on the stop. A very good observation there, Dad. Pickup of 7. It's going to be 4th and 15. The Grizzlies are going to punt, but ball control, really the Grizzlies' main objective here.
Exactly.
4th down and 15. We're down to 6:22 to go in the game, and Wadsworth's up 20-0. Pop up by McNamara. It takes a falls bounce. Someone has to fall in for the Grizzlies. Finally, Josh Hendricks corrals it at the 42 of Wadsworth. So this is probably the best field position that the Tigers have gotten all night.
Now the Grizzly defense will pride itself on getting a shutout here. I'm sure that that's what they'd really like to have, and not allow any team to score a touchdown on them this year.
Some people might think it's an insignificant point whether you win or not, but a defense really prides itself when it can come away with a shutout. That's why you'll see him fight all the way to the end, just trying to keep him out of the end zone. Bill Brandt running. He's got a lot of problems here. George is chasing him all the way to Cleveland. Now he's coming back up, trying for the sideline and throwing it near the stands. Boy, oh boy, he almost fell into Lake Erie.
My goodness. Let's see, going that far north, yeah, he had 1 foot in Lake Erie when he was getting ready to throw that ball.
Bill Brandt must have a lot of credit for his ability, because he's in his own ability. He's not afraid to roll and roll and roll. He must think he can get out of any kind of trouble.
And I like George. George says, I'll put on track shoes with you. You want to run that way, I'll chase you.
George was motoring.
He was motoring. I mean, he didn't have a basketball in his hands this time either.
Jason Joy helping out on that. Now a quick drop by Brandt. We got a flag on the play back at the line. Joe Nice catches it at the 33, and he's brought down. That would be right on a first down, but we'll see what happens with the penalty flag. We could have holding on the Tigers. They go from Wadsworth 45 to their own 45 in the 10-yard penalty. Brandt again trying to dance through traffic. A sliding tackle by Shane Robinson and a big sack for Wadsworth.
Grizzlies are running that 4-4 defense, and the cornerbacks are covering the deep men so well that the line is pursuing. The linebackers can stay home, and they're getting really great coverage one-on-one deep. So, I mean, you just got it hitting on all cylinders.
Great play by Shane Robinson. Jason Joy on the assist. A loss of 7. It'll be 3rd and 22. Brandt staying in the pocket, tossing, caught, but it will be short of the first down, up to the 42. And making the catch was Aaron Steiner. Grizzlies making the play, Mike Levitt. And they stop at the original line of scrimmage at the beginning. Actually just inside. It's going to be 4th and 9.
Adam Steiner making it.
And they're going for it. They have no choice. Brandt tossing it. Incomplete. Grizzlies will take over. Madigan looking for the interception, but he was on the ground, so he couldn't have advanced anyway. Grizzlies get the ball. It's the same thing, basically.
And basically, he even came up a little bit better not being stopped there with the interception because it goes back to line of scrimmage.
Joe Nice was the intended receiver. Grizzlies holding on defense, and they are close and much closer to that shutout. Just 4:40 to go. Wadsworth on top of Cuyahoga Falls 20-0. And the Grizzlies coaches have to be incredibly gratified by this performance. You could tell the frustration after last week's loss. So close to beating a very top team.
Well, certainly Coach Ramsey Shepard's got to be really pleased with his debut here at home. Get some of the naysayers off of his back, and got to hand it to Mike Smelton. This play selection is just driving the Black Tigers nuts. I mean, they are totally in disarray on defense.
Shane Lemons checks in. He's wearing number 88. He's number 80 in our program, but he is overall number 88.
And number 1 in their hearts.
Oh, yeah. He looks like he's a tight end. Lemons, a sophomore, getting a little playing time here. We have an official timeout on the field. 4:40 to go in this contest. And Wadsworth has played a stellar game on offense and defense. Brian Madigan has scored 3 touchdowns, an 11-yard run, a 29-yard pass from Ian Cranston, and a 6-yard run. And the Grizzlies defense has throttled Joe Nice and quarterback Bill Brandt, and the entire Black Tigers offense has not done much of anything. It's just amazing the degree to which they've stopped the Black Tigers.
Black Tigers are not used to being treated this way. They're rated number 4 in the Beacon Journal poll, and as one of the best teams in the area. And I think they came out here thinking that Wadsworth Grizzlies we're not going to give them this kind of fits, especially from the Grizzly offense, but Grizzlies are moving again.
And some of the Falls fans look like they're saying nah, hey, goodbye to this game. And Ian Cranston faked the Oklahoma, and they will take it all the way up to the 50 on a very nice run there by Josh McCall. McCall picks up 9 on the ground, and he's really been the unsung hero. McCall on the ground has just, his ability to run between the tackles has really set up Madigan and Knapp outside the tackle.
McCall keeps his linebackers at home up the middle. They cannot pursue outside because he's killing them up the middle.
Josh McCall, 10 rushes for 46 yards, 4.6 yards a carry. And I wasn't even a math major. Just move that decimal point. Here is McCall again, picked up the 1, I believe. They might give him the forward progress. They'll probably, we'll see the spot. We'll probably see if the Grizzlies got the first down. And the whistle blows with 3:52 to go, so the clock will stop to get this measurement. Grizzlies up 20-zip.
They're just 2 football lengths over the 50-yard line. And we'll bring out the chains.
It looks from here like they're just a nose short. But while we have a timeout, Dad, why don't we talk about next week's game? Next week we will be coming to you from lovely Medina.
Downtown, the beautiful Medina.
I haven't been to Medina. Is it lovely?
It is a nice town. It's a pretty town, and the people are lovely people.
But can't hold a candle to Wadsworth.
No.
Hey, we found out what that middle song that the band did. They did Carry On My Wayward Son at the beginning, When a Man Loves a Woman, and the fight song at the end. The other one was Coconut Champagne. That's what it was.
One of my favorite drinks.
Oh, yeah. Gee. I'm getting nauseous just thinking about what that would taste like.
Yes.
1st and 10, the Grizzlies do get the first down on the Falls 49. Give them a call again, trying to run that clock out. Gets just across the 45, near the 44. They'll give him 4. McCall just grinding it out.
I think Mr. McCall is going to sleep well tonight. He's fought the good fight. I mean, he had about a 30-second breather there, and he goes right back to work.
So like we said, next week it'll be the Medina Battling Bees. We'll be on the road. We'll be with the Cam van.
Yes.
Love that Cam van. Giving us the road action.
We are so happy, Wadsworth, to be able to bring you for the first time away games, thanks to the mayor and all the people in Wadsworth who coughed up the money for the Cam van.
And we love you very much. And I mean that. Giving it to McCall again. Running through the line, running actually through past his blockers to the 41. He'll pick up 3 more. It'll be 3rd down and 2, but more important, the clock keeps rolling.
Exactly.
And the Grizzlies trying to put the stamp on this. They're up 20-0, and with 2:40 to go.
Joe Nice, as I said, at the offset of the game, one of the premier running backs in the league and in Northeast Ohio, but he can't do it if he's on the bench.
Unbelievable. That the Grizzlies would stop such a vaunted offensive machine, and you'd think that even if the Grizzlies would stop him, you'd think that maybe Nice would break one or do something. Well, it's okay, he's not on the field, but he hasn't broken one at all. Just unbelievable, the Grizzlies' defense tonight.
Great containment by the linebackers, and the line has been holding up.
This is Madigan over right end. Now a bunch of Black Tigers fall on him. His forward progress will take him perhaps to a first down. Very close. We're probably going to have another measurement. One thing we can tell you about this Medina game, the Grizzlies will be playing not the Medina Bees, but the Medina Battling Bees. And you have to call them the Battling Bees because elsewhere in the Pioneer Conference, of which the Grizzlies used to be a member, there's the Brecksville Bees.
That's right.
Wouldn't you like to be a bee on the wall when the Brecksville Bees face the Medina Battling Bees?
Right. You could just say we're brought down by a swarm of bees, and no one will know who's talking about anything.
Got to bring the 20-gallon drum of Bactine to that game.
Scott reminds me of a hive.
Grizzlies taking over, 1st and 10. They did get that first down as well. And again, McCall moving the pack. Great interior blocking there by Greg Steele, the center, and the 2 guards, Josh Hendricks and George. They've done a fine job opening those holes for McCall tonight. And then Dan Razor and Mark Crow on the ends, along with Jason Joy, the tight end, helping out Madigan and Knapp. Just an overall fine effort on offense. And now Shane Robinson, who's normally strictly a defensive player, checks in on offense for the Grizzlies.
Just saw George get a big hug from Coach Ramsey Shepard, and I don't blame him. If I were Coach Shepard, I'd be hugging George too, Coach Thompson in there. Defense is celebrating the goose egg while the offense finishes it up.
Josh McCall actually banged up his shoulder on that play, and so Robinson's in at fullback. They'll give it to Madigan. Madigan gets just across the 35, and he picks up 3 more. It's going to be 3rd down and 5 for the Grizzlies, but the time is ticking away, 42 seconds and counting. Grizzlies looking for the shutout of Cuyahoga Falls, and I'm sure that this game is going to send shockwaves through the Suburban League of the Grizzlies and the Metro League of Cuyahoga Falls. Because remember, just last year, the Grizzlies played Cuyahoga Falls at Cuyahoga Falls, and it was not a pretty sight for Wadsworth. The Black Tigers beat them rather handily, and so this is got to be very sweet for the Grizzlies, players, coaches, fans, everybody, even us. Shane Robinson takes it up the middle, across to the 30, and that will be the last play of the game as Robinson picks up 3 or 4. 3, 2, 1. There's the gun. Here at Artwright Memorial Stadium, a huge victory for the Wadsworth Grizzlies. 20-0, they shut out the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers. I'm still surprised. Not that the Grizzlies won, but that the Grizzlies won this big.
They won this big. You talk about sending out shockwaves. This is going to send shockwaves at the Northeast Ohio teams just about as much as the shockwaves that went out when Northwestern led Notre Dame last week, 12-7 at that.
Yeah, we like that. Off to our left, a bunch of happy coaches are going to be coming down the stairs and popping out of this box. They are very pleased with the performance tonight.
Can't draw it up better than that, Coach.
Your final score?
Can't draw
Wadsworth
it up better than that.
20, Cuyahoga Falls nothing. Quickly, let's run through the scoring. The Grizzlies Grizzlies got on the board with 3:17 left in the first quarter on an 11-yard touchdown run by Brian Madigan. George kicked the extra point, and it was 7-0 Grizzlies. That's the way it was after one quarter, and it stood 7-0 at halftime. Grizzlies needed some extra offensive pop to really put the pressure on Cuyahoga Falls, and they got it with 8:44 to go in the third quarter when Ian Cranston threw his first touchdown pass of the year. It was a 29-yard strike over the middle to a wide-open Brian Madigan. That was another touchdown for Madigan. George's extra point was also good, and that made it 14-0 Grizzlies. And then with 1:45 to go in the third quarter, Madigan broke free again. A 6-yard touchdown run. The Grizzlies on a very short drive set up by a big fumble recovery. Frank Simon fumbled a punt for Falls. Senior Jerry Gale made the big play falling on it, and that set up Madigan's score, which really iced this game for the Grizzlies, and the defense, which has been outstanding, shutting down Joe Nice, and they hang on for the shutout. The Grizzlies do. 20-0 your final.
No touchdowns scored on the Grizzlies this year. And you see the Wadsworth Grizzlies all assembled in the end zone down there, down on one knee, and getting the last inspiration.
You can hear them yelling and screaming. They are pumped.
And it's deathly silence in the same group of players here, the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers.
Okay, we've just been told that by Ken Hall, our field cameraman, that we will have an interview with the band director coming your way. So stay tuned. We're going to have some final stats coming through, but before we get to this interview, we can like to thank our crew. We'd like to thank my dad, Bob Gorman, doing the color commentary and doing play-by-play while I was stranded on the road. We'd like to thank our new field reporter, Amy Farrell, bringing a great aspect to this game, and we'll be hearing from her before we go off the air. I'd like to thank John Madding, our producer, who's done a fantastic job coordinating all this, and thank him for doing a little bit of color also while I was gone. Our stat men here, John Callahan and John Mosier, assisted by Charlie Ackerman, giving us some information. Thank you guys for some very good stats. Matt Neal in the truck, the cam van, our director. Ken Hall, the field camera, and Denny Welch and Brian Dodge, the top cameraman, bringing you the actual action. So, we are awaiting our interview here. The Grizzlies, a 20-0 winner here. And you're on, Amy.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. And now we're back here with the band director, and your name is?
Sam Mays.
How do you think the band's performance was tonight?
I thought both bands did a very fine job at halftime. Cuyahoga Falls is to be commended for their fine performance, and I was very pleased with the Wadsworth High School band's performance this evening.
Okay, and how do you think the band's going to perform the rest of the year?
This could be one of our better years that we've had in a long time. It's one of our larger bands in the past 8 years, and the band is fired up. They're ready to go. We have a real good spirit, real good attitude, and I think we're going to do real well this year.
How long do you have to practice? How many months ahead do you have to practice before the games start?
We start working out for the fall in August. We go 2-a-days like the sports teams, and we go 9 to noon and 6 to 8, 5 days a week. And we get ourselves ready for our competition season as well as our halftime performances during that time.
Okay, and about how many people are in the band?
We have 116 this year.
Do you think this is a really good turnout for the game?
Yes, this is one of our finer turnouts we've had in the past couple of years.
Okay, thanks for doing the interview. And now back to you, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Amy, and thank you for the band director. There's the score on your screen, 20-0 Wadsworth shutting out Cuyahoga Falls. And Dad, why don't we go with the player of the game? And this is the unofficial player of the game. The coaches will pick the player of the game who will be interviewed on Dick Manful's coaches show. Okay, so Dad, this is just our opinions. We haven't looked at the film. So Dad, take it away.
Well, last week, remember, we gave it to the defense. This week, though, the defense, again, was absolutely superb. We're going to share some of the glory, and I think it's going to go to Brian Madigan, who did some great scoring, good catches. He played tough on both sides of the ball. Naturally got all that help from Ian Cranston. As I said, this is our broadcast player of the game, and when the coaches actually score the films, they will have their player. But they certainly can't be too far wrong from Brian Madigan, our broadcast semi-official player of the game.
Okay, thank you very much, and be sure to tune in Wednesday night for the coaches show with Dick Manful, and be sure to tune in next Friday night when we're in Medina with the cam van as the Grizzlies try to go to 2-1 as they take on the Battling Bees. And so that will do it here. Your final score, 20-0, thanks to our crew, thanks to Bob Gorman. And this is Jeff Gorman saying so long till next time, and thanks for tuning in. Good night.
Good night.